Now on 4 News Now at 6, I am tracking thunderstorms tonight. I'll let you know where they are now and if they're headed to your neighborhood in the First Alert forecast.
A Medical Lake educator preparing to head back to school while trying to rebuild her own home. What she says students need the most right now to help them get through the next school year. And a man accused of participating in the January 6th insurrection appears in a Spokane courtroom. How investigators managed to track him down. You're watching 4 News Now at 6. We begin with breaking news tonight. Right now, fire crews are battling this fire burning in Orofino, Idaho. In this video, you can see the flames burning on top of that hill. Orofino is about 40 miles east of Lewiston. The Clearwater County Sheriff's Office says the fire has already burned multiple structures, and anyone living near Wixon Heights neighborhood is being told to get out now. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kirsten O'Connor. This fire is developing right now. We will update you during this newscast and on KXLY.com as we learn more. But this comes as crews across the inland Northwest are on high alert tonight with thunderstorms moving through our area. Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker is in the First Alert Weather Center and has been tracking these storms all day. Chris?
Well, and they have been concentrated around the Orofino area. Here's a look at our Doppler radar right now with some of the thunderstorms in progress. And Orofino, all of Clearwater County, is under a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock tonight. They are getting some rain with these thunderstorms. They are not dry thunderstorms, but that lightning on the very dry vegetation in place is still an issue. Now, as these thunderstorms are moving up from the south, we've had some thunderstorms through parts of Whitman County. Once they get a little bit further to the north, they are running into fairly cool, stable air around the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area. So they have had a very difficult time holding together other than an occasional rumble of thunder. Again, our thunderstorm watch expires at 8 o'clock. We'll have the potential for some area thunderstorms until about 10, 11 o'clock. We'll zoom in here on our radar and see that there are still a few embedded thunderstorms in these showers closer to Spokane and Kootenai counties, but they really do taper off once they head further to the north. Meanwhile, in your forecast for tonight, there is the potential for thunderstorm activity through the evening. Then the rain will continue overnight and right on through most of the day on Wednesday. I'll have a wet, windy, and cool Wednesday forecast for you in just a few minutes. Kirsten.
Thank you, Chris. And we have heard countless stories that have shown Medical Lake's resiliency throughout the tragedy of the Gray Fire. Tonight, we're hearing from a man whose heroic deed should not go unnoticed. Our Marissa Rio spoke with a firefighter who was saving other people's homes from the Gray Fire while his own home was in flames.
This was once Spokane Valley Fire Captain Dwayne Hughes' home. He and his wife lived here for almost 4 years. This is their new reality.
Started helping with some of the structural protection, and that's when I got on my, received the text for the level 3 evacuation that was going on from Medical Lake. So I immediately texted my wife and told her, yeah, she needed to get out.
On the night of the Gray Fire, Captain Hughes was sent to protect homes near Lakeland Village. He and his crew saved at least 6 and lost 1. While Hughes was worrying about the house that he couldn't protect, his own home in Medical Lake was in flames. Later that evening, he went to check on his place, but stopped along the way to save as many other homes as he could.
As it was on the way down, we were coming upon houses that I knew we could save, so I ended up not getting here probably till about 8:30. So we spent another 3.5 hours, again, fighting fires.
When Captain Hughes finally reached his home, everything was destroyed.
Once I saw everything, it was kind of like, oh, wow, this isn't good, but, you know, I couldn't dwell on that. We had other work to do, so we just turned around and started back.
When Hughes' wife received the text to evacuate, she fled their home. She says the smoke was so thick, it was hard to breathe. She feared for her husband.
You know, I was concerned about his safety for sure. He's my hero. It was pretty terrifying. It was pretty terrifying.
The Hughes lost everything. They were underinsured, so they now face new struggles. Captain Hughes says they just rented out a one-bedroom, 600-square-foot apartment. He jokes that it's like he and his wife are 20 again. But that's all they need. One other Spokane Valley Fire Department employee also lost their home. The department has set up a GoFundMe for both. Despite the destruction left behind and not having a home to come back to, Captain Hughes is already back to work, protecting the community he cares about. Reporting in Medical Lake, Marissa Rio, 4 News Now.
Marissa, thank you. An affordable housing community for senior citizens in Medical Lake was forced to evacuate the night of the Gray Fire. To help them out, Catholic Charities Eastern Washington waived September's rent for tenants at the Hearthstone Apartments. One woman living there says she was displaced for 4 days. She describes the night of the Gray Fire as terrifying.
The blessings of that rent stipend puts all the food back into my refrigerator that 4 days of no power spoiled. So because of Catholic Charities picking up this month's rent, everything's back to normal, and without them I would have been hungry.
Donna Heron, who you just heard from, says that extra money will also go to her grandkids, and she's just happy that they are all safe. Because of the Oregon Road fire, Riverside School District is pushing back the first day of school. Instead of starting tomorrow, students will be back in the classroom September 6th. And hundreds of Medical Lake students and staff will be returning to class tomorrow. Despite losing her own house to the fire, one Medical Lake educator wants to help restore hope and joy for students who may have had the same tragedy happen to them. Our Peter Choi is live tonight in Medical Lake, and he explains why this educator wants to prioritize support for students ahead of academics this school year.
Yeah, Kirsten, take a look at this. Now, this is the house where the Medical Lake School District, the educator used to live, and used to live, and the fire really completely destroyed her house. And tonight she wants to help her student first. And the most important thing for students at this moment is a sense of normalcy.
We had left for the day to run an errand, and when we got back, it was already too late. We could see our house was on fire.
Seeing flames scorching the house, everything was too surreal to witness.
Our hearts dropped because our dogs were in the house. And, you know, bless my husband, he tried really hard.
It was too late to save 2 dogs, Rocky and Belle. Homeowner Amy Burrs grew up in Medical Lake, and she's a paraeducator for students who need special care at Halla Elementary. As students are returning to their classrooms, her goal is to prioritize mental support.
That's the first service that we're going to provide. What do our kids need, you know, support-wise? Because you got to look at the kid first.
Because she says a sense of normalcy is what students deserve in the tragedy right now.
Welcome back to Hallett. You know, welcome back to school. And these kids know, you know, we're still going to do the high fives on the first day of school. My kids are still going to be able to walk in the door, see their friends, you know, because I know for my family, that's going to be the big thing.
Her house is now gone, but she's still at her home where friendly neighbors visit to say hi.
Now, Kirsten, I asked her if she's ready to go back to school tomorrow, and without hesitation, her answer was yes. Live in Medical Lake tonight, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
Those students have a wonderful teacher to go back to. Thank you, Peter. While the threat of the Gray and Oregon Road fires may have passed, the effects of these fires will be felt for months, even years, here in the Inland Northwest, with families just starting to rebuild. We know many of you want to help, but many of us can't afford to donate hundreds of dollars to help those who've lost everything. And that's why all day Thursday on TV, online, and on the radio, 4 News Now will be sharing little things that you can do that go a long way. It's all a part of what we're doing here to help. Again, that's airing all day on Thursday. Coeur d'Alene Public Schools is now pumping the brakes on a plan to eliminate some student bus stops. A concerned parent contacted us here at 4 News Now, upset about finding out so close to the start of the school year that the bus routes were changed. So we contacted the district, and they said they heard the concerns and feedback of parents and sent a letter of apology. Coeur d'Alene Public Schools elected not to go forward with any changes and said the revised routes would be posted to InfoFinder by the end of the day this Friday. To access that link and view a copy of the letter to parents, look for this story on our website, KXLY.com. Still ahead, mass shootings in the U.S. have reached a 10-year high. We break down the numbers. That's coming up on 4 News Now at 6.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
4 News Now is brought to you by ZeroRez. Money Sense, brought to you by Washington Trust Bank.
Students and parents are gearing up to head back to class. Saving for sports can often be overlooked in the back-to-school budget, but it is just as important to keep those costs in mind as it is for backpacks, clothing, and notebooks.
Saving for sports for the school year is very important. The costs add up quick and parents need to plan accordingly.
What are some questions parents should ask themselves as they prepare their back-to-school or sports budget?
Sports are extremely expensive, and there are a lot of things to consider: the gear, the enrollment costs, and they just need to really be prepared for that so that they have a successful year for their kids.
I've always heard you should be on lookout for lightly used equipment to save on gear.
Parents really need to take a look at the gear that they currently have. Is it something that a sibling can use? You know, Michaela, I think it's really important to keep kids in sports. It instills so many great qualities from leadership, teamwork, and it keeps them busy and gives them something to strive for.
Spokane and North Idaho's country leader.
Drinking watermelon moonshine.
Oh, Lord, when it rains, it pours. The big 99.9 Coyote Country.
Tina, the Tina Turner Musical. Tina Turner's triumphant story is live on stage in the mega hit musical direct from Broadway. Prepare to be ecstatically blown away. September 19th through 24th at First Interstate Center for the Arts. On sale now at BroadwaySpokane.com.
When I was told I had a brain tumor, my life disappeared in a moment. I feared for my future, but even more, I feared for the ones I love. How would they move on without me? But when my doctor told me about the Gamma Knife of Spokane, everything changed. I can get my brain tumor treated in just 1 day and continue living the life I love. Because of Gamma Knife, I have hope.
The Labor Day savings are kicking off early this week at Walker's Furniture.
And that means some of the biggest discounts of the year as Walker's marks down all bedroom and living room furniture. Plus, they brought in special 5 years no-interest financing this week at Walker's.
A Washington man accused of participating in the January 6th U.S. Capitol riots appeared in Spokane federal court today. 21-year-old Elliot Williams is facing 4 charges. If convicted, the maximum penalty he could face is 3 years in custody and more than $200,000 in fines. Our Natalie Grant is live in front of the federal courthouse tonight with more on the suspect you heard about first on 4 News Now.
Well, Kirsten, according to court documents, Williams admitted to federal agents that he flew out to Washington, D.C. the morning of January 6th to specifically participate in the Stop the Steal rallies. That participation has now landed him in front of a federal judge here in Spokane almost 3 years later. Now, take a look at these photos that are on your screen here. These were included in those court documents. As you can see, Williams is seen in several areas of the Capitol building wearing a red hat, a gray shirt, and carrying a black backpack. Documents say Williams entered the Capitol with a large crowd, went into areas he was not supposed to, left the Capitol, and then re-entered a short time later. Williams is seen on the second floor near former Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office, and footage shows that he was one of the last people that was pushed out by police that day. Court documents say Williams was identified by someone who knew him through social interactions here in the Spokane area. They said they saw Williams walking through the Capitol from national news coverage. damage. The FBI was then able to compare these images to things like Williams's Washington state driver's license for a match. Now, as of right now, we do know that Williams has a Washington state driver's license, but we're not clear exactly where he's from. His next appearance is scheduled for September 12th in Washington, D.C. federal court, and he'll be appearing there during Zoom. He will not be detained between now and then, but he's asked to not leave the eastern Washington state area unless ordered by the court. And of course, we'll keep you updated as this trial progresses here. Reporting in Spokane, Natalie Grant, 4 News Now.
Natalie, thank you. A Spokane County judge has ruled to change the language of Ballot Measure 1, a measure that would provide more taxpayer dollars toward law enforcement and criminal justice. Judge Tony Hazel ruled today that the measure's language should include plans to use some of the money toward correctional infrastructure and building and improving jails or correctional facilities. The language about new jail sites was not in the original measure language, and petitioners made up of civil rights groups brought it before the court.
Both sides of this issue care deeply about our community. That's not lost on me. And I hope you all continue to care about our community, because that's what makes a great community, is when people step up and participate. Not everyone needs to have this.
The county auditor will adopt the new language for Measure 1 and add it to the ballots. The general election is November 7th. Right now, voters in the West Bonner School District are deciding the fate of 2 of their school board members. Organizers of the recall blame School Board Chair Keith Rutledge and Vice Chair Susan Brown for canceling a purchase of a language arts curriculum 2 months after it was approved, leaving the school district without a plan, forcing the district to pay to return the materials. Rutledge told 4 News Now that the board is working on obtaining a new curriculum that won't cost the district anything. We will have the results of tonight's vote tonight on Nightside starting at 11 o'clock.
4 things to know about your weather. It is going to continue raining overnight tonight into a soggy Wednesday. Windy conditions tonight as well as Wednesday, with gusts up to 30 miles per hour and highs only in the 60s for the next couple of days. I'll let you know how long this cool, wet weather is going to last after the break.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Beat the heat. Always water before 10 a.m. or after 6 p.m.
Injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle wreck?
Call Russell & Hill, attorneys at law.
Where real people
with real injuries
get real results.
Injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle wreck?
Get real results.
Get Russell & Hill.
This summer, GMA's popping up all across the country. It's GMA's Rise and Shine Summer Tour.
Rise and shine.
Rise and shine. So where will we be tomorrow morning? Okay, here's a clue. There's tons of sun, style, and endless beaches. Find out tomorrow only on Good Morning America.
4 News Now anchor team, not just in the newsroom, but in the community. We're doing the work, listening to you, asking questions, and getting the answers you need to help keep your family safe. We're the friendly faces you see first thing in the morning and at the end of your day. We're the people you trust on your screens and in real life. And we'll always be there when you need us. It's what we mean when we say, expect more on 4 News Now.
What's in a name? A question that has never had more relevance. First American Title has been rebranded to Flying S Title and Escrow. Since 1905, we've been helping people protect their property rights. When the time comes to choose a title insurance and escrow company, the choice is clear: Flying S Title and Escrow. Idaho's longest operating, family-owned title and escrow company is now Flying S Title and Escrow. We're not new, but our name is.
Get $200 with a new checking account from Horizon Credit Union. We're here to guide you towards your dreams and put some extra cash in your pocket. Sign up in branch or online with the Get 200 promo code today.
The Labor Day savings are kicking off early this week at Walker's Furniture.
And that means some of the biggest discounts of the year, as Walker's marks down all bedroom and living room furniture. Plus, they brought in special 5 years no-interest financing this week at Walker's.
Whether it's a nasty spill, a mess from your pet, or it's been way too long since your last professional cleaning, schedule your appointment with the experts at Zero Res, and we'll do the dirty work for you. Zero Res, a smarter, lasting clean.
A live look now at Riverfront Park where the tents are already up. Wow, look at all those tents, Chris. Wow. For the return of Pig Out in the Park tomorrow. This is going to feature more than 60 food booths, 4 beer gardens, and over 100 free concerts. The fun begins at 11 o'clock and runs until Monday. Find out when all Pig Out booths will offer special $6 bites every day on KXLY.com.
You know, my very favorite Pig Out in the Park was when I was 9 months pregnant. Kirsten, I was just flashing back to
almost there.
It was a glorious feast.
Yes.
So we may have to take you down there.
Yes.
Let's take a look at our Doppler radar right now. We are still looking at some areas of thunderstorm activity. Been a bit of a bust in terms of thunder. Not that that's a bad thing. That is a good thing in Spokane County, but we are getting some of the rain. Still the potential for some thunderstorms, but as these storms are moving north, they're running into very stable air, and it just takes the wind out of their sails. But there's still some pretty good storms right now watching in Latah County. They are moving into Shoshone County and of course down around Orofino. Thankfully they're getting some rain, but they're also getting the thunderstorms and the gusty winds that go along with it. So a mixed blessing for firefighters there. And this area shaded in pink, that is the severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock, which does not include much of the inland northwest, just Clearwater County. Rain tonight, 56 degrees for an overnight low, wind gusts to 30 miles per hour. Rain likely tomorrow, a high more than 10 degrees below average, and wind gusts to 30 miles per hour. We are going to put down some pretty substantial rain with this system, but the heavier rain, and we're going to see the lingering precipitation in the area you see shaded in yellow, essentially north of Coeur d'Alene up through Bonner and Boundary counties, as well as in the Northeast Mountains. And that is where we have a flood watch through Wednesday, because we're really going to be getting that precipitation mainly as you head out into the Columbia Basin. We will see drier conditions, and but we will still keep the winds going through the Columbia Basin. Here's a look at our wind speeds on Wednesday. The strongest winds will be in the morning hours. That's also where we have the best chance of rain in Spokane. These are sustained winds, 21 miles per hour, but the wind gusts at times up to 30 miles per hour. Overnight lows tonight will be down in the 50s. These temperatures are just about average. These temperatures are not. And you'll notice quite cool through the panhandle of Idaho, 61 in Sandpoint, 63 in Bonners Ferry, down in Coeur d'Alene, 63 degrees. And then the further west you go, the warmer, the drier weather you're going to find, 78 degrees in Moses Lake. Here's a look at your planning forecast. A wet and windy Wednesday. Showers possible on Thursday. We have a 30% chance, but it is going to be cool. A reinforcing shot of cool air. A breezy day, not as windy as tomorrow. Then we dry out and warm up for a really nice Friday and Saturday. It is Labor Day weekend. Then the chance of showers starts sneaking back in and increases as we get into Labor Day Monday. Back to school and work on Tuesday with 72 and sunshine. Kirsten?
Thank you, Chris. New at 6 o'clock. 476. That's how many mass shootings there have been in the U.S. this year. That's according to the Gun Violence Archive. The organization also saying the number of gun incidents have reached a 10-year high. CNN's John Lawrence breaks down the numbers.
Gunfire erupted at the Southern Restaurant and Lounge in Louisville, Kentucky, early Sunday morning.
Enough is enough. We can and we must do more.
Police say at least 2 adult males were killed in the shooting while 5 others were hospitalized. This is among the nearly 500 mass shootings in the U.S. in 2023, according to the Gun Violence Archive. Both CNN and the GVA define a mass shooting as an incident where at least 4 people are killed or injured, not including the shooter.
Too many families are having to bury their loved ones. Too many children are being left without mothers and fathers, lost to senseless gun violence.
The GVA says the U.S. has had more mass shootings this year since at least 2013, which is when the nonprofit group started tracking gun violence.
We need more stringent background checks. There are a plethora of things we can do to tighten our laws.
Data from the GVA also shows more than 20 mass shootings have erupted in the U.S. during the week that ended August 27th.
We have a violent gun problem in our country. We know that.
More than 50% of U.S. adults say they or a family member experienced a gun-related incident in their lives, according to a survey from the Kaiser Family Foundation earlier this year. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
People in Florida are now bracing for a Category 3 hurricane. The prep's underway tonight as it's expected to hit the state in the next 24 hours.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
It's a new spin on Dancing with the Stars. Coming this fall to ABC, Disney Plus, and Hulu.
Set summer in motion with the most adventurous Honda vehicles yet. Like the Pilot and Passport Trail Sport and the Ridgeline. Built for better off-road performance and engineered for more adventure. This summer, create your own adventures with Honda, the most awarded brand in Car and Driver 10 Best history. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
Winning a new Yukon Denali at Northern Quest is easy. Sending your other car to live on a farm upstate? Well, you'll get over it. Don't miss the $116,000 Yukon Rush giveaway with a grand prize drawing on September 29th at Northern Quest. Play daily with your Camus Rewards card to enter, and you could be driving home in a brand new GMC Yukon Denali at the end of the month. Details at northernquest.com.
Considering selling your RV? R&R wants it. Tired of paying storage fees? R&R needs it. Just don't use it anymore? R&R will buy it. Due to a critical shortage of pre-owned RVs, R&R RV is currently paying our absolute top dollar for your used RV. Any year, any make, any model. Turn your RV into cash or flip it for a newer model. So if you no longer use it or want it, let R&R RV buy it. Visit the R&R RV Superstore in Liberty Lake or call Keith at 509-499-2601.
It's showtime. 10 days of fair fun starts Friday, September 8th. Martina McBride fans, get your tickets now at ticketswest.com. Plan your fair fun at thespokanefair.com.
Now, with so much on the line, ABC News, America's #1 news, is right there for you live on Hulu with stories of strength, stories of hope. Because now, when it matters most,
Hulu has live news.
Hulu has live news.
Hulu has live news. And that news is ABC News.
ABC News Live on Hulu.
ABC News Live on Hulu.
Watch the news you need.
Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Streaming to all Hulu subscribers right now.
4 News Now is brought to you by Mainstream Electric Heating, Cooling, Plumbing.
More breaking news tonight. More than 2,500 people in Inland Power customers in Whitman County and Spokane County are without power right now. The company saying the issue has to do with their power supplier. Inland Power expects power to be restored right around midnight. And new at 6, the Biden administration has unveiled its list of the first 10 drugs Medicare will negotiate prices on. It includes blood thinners and medications that treat conditions like diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. The Department of Health and Human Services says about 9 million Medicare patients took the medicines on the list and paid nearly $3.5 billion out of pocket last year.
Instead of using all your energy to fight the disease, you're fighting insurance or drug companies for medicines that literally keep you alive. Without them, you're not going to be here.
Negotiated prices won't take effect until 2026. The pharmaceutical industry has filed multiple lawsuits seeking to derail Medicare's new negotiating authority, but none have succeeded as of now. As COVID-19 cases increase in the U.S., the risk of hospitalization or death from the virus has gone down because most Americans have some immunity either from the vaccine or a previous COVID infection. Still, new cases may be driven by people heading indoors and kids going back to school.
And that is usually what kicks off respiratory virus season. And that's where we are right now.
The threat of new variants also remains. Scientists are tracking the newest one now, which has been detected in wastewater. CDC advisors are expected to meet in 2 weeks to discuss whether to recommend an updated COVID booster. Still ahead, the battle to stay relevant in college sports has never been tougher. Coming up, Alex Crescenti takes a deep dive into name, image, and likeness and how it's impacting Washington State University.
This family in Elk came home to find everything destroyed. Coming up, hear how they say the community is coming together and helping them as they work to rebuild and move forward.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
I know this looks like a summer blockbuster, but this is a Nissan sales event ad.
Get 0% financing for 36 months on select road trims.
Better hurry. These offers won't get a sequel.
I'm Mark Peterson with information from AARP and BECU. Research shows older adults want to stay in their current home for as long as possible. But as we age, our needs change, and most houses and apartments don't meet the requirements of older residents or those with disabilities. There are some low-cost to no-cost modifications and adjustments you can make to allow elderly individuals to stay in a home comfortably and safely. AARP and BECU are here to help you plan. For tips, tools, and resources, visit this website.
And family fun, all in one place. River Park Square.
Granite Concepts brings your vision of new countertops to life in 5 easy steps. 1. Preview over 150 slabs on our website, then in person. 2. We'll professionally laser template your project. 3. We'll design your countertop by digitally plotting the most beautiful areas from your hand-selected slab. 4. We'll precision cut a perfect fit and customize with one of a variety of edge profiles. And 5. We'll immaculately install your new countertops in less than a day. Granite Concepts. Beauty set in stone.
The Jennifer Hudson Show is here. Everybody put your hands together. I gotta talk to you now.
I left work to come.
You left her? They gonna see you. He's with me today. We're lighting up daytime, baby.
And you're gonna bless people every single day.
We're giving back, lifting each other up. Something hits you in your heart. We're doing it all. Mama Hood, coming to the rescue.
The Jennifer Hudson Show, weekdays at 2, only on 4 News Now.
I know this looks like a summer blockbuster, but this is a Nissan sales event ad.
Get 0% financing for 36 months on select road trims.
Better hurry. These offers won't get a sequel.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
We continue to follow that breaking news out of Clearwater County, Idaho. Level 3, meaning get out now evacuation orders are now in place because of this wildfire burning in Orofino. Anyone living near Wixon Heights is being told to get out now. Orofino is about an hour east of Lewiston. The sheriff's office saying this fire has already destroyed multiple structures. We don't know at this point if those structures are homes. We are continuing to follow up with the sheriff's office. And within the last few minutes, the Orofino Police Department announced the armory is open to the public and food is available. So Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker joining me now. We we're watching on the radar the lightning concentrated in that area.
Yes, they've had an afternoon and evening of thunderstorms. They're getting some rain with it, but also the gusty winds and cloud-to-ground lightning. So a mixed bag, and that's the way it is going to continue over the next 24 hours. Actually, we'll lose the thunderstorm activity, but keep the rain and the gusty winds going. Here we are on our Doppler radar right now and down around the Orofino area. A lot of the lightning is tapered off, but we are still getting some rain and gusty winds. Experience wind gusts as high as 40 miles per hour. 30-mile-per-hour gusts are possible between 12 and 24 hours longer. We'll zoom in a little bit. We've had some rumbles of thunder around the Coeur d'Alene area here in the last 5 or 10 minutes, with a weak thunderstorm moving to the northeast just west of town. Also some heavier precipitation. There's a cloud-to-ground lightning strike live just south of the Rathdrum area, south and west of Rathdrum. Rain will continue through the evening and overnight. Thunderstorm activity is already tapering off, but should be wrapped up by about 10, 11 o'clock tonight. There is a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for parts of western Montana as well as Clearwater County, but that expires at 8 o'clock. It is rain tomorrow, not the thunderstorm activity, and it is going to be cool. We'll be in the 50s to start the day, only warming up into the 60s. We should be dry by about 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. The strongest winds will be from early to mid-morning. It's still going to be a breezy evening, however, and takes us into an unsettled Thursday. I'll have a look at your Labor Day weekend forecast and see if there's any sign of really summery weather left in our 8 to 14 day outlook. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Kirsten.
Thank you for those updates, Chris. Well, it's been over a week since the Oregon Road fire started near Elk. That fire has now burned around 11,000 acres, destroying 126 homes. As homeowners are returning to find just debris and ash, some are already looking toward the rebuilding process. Our Bronte Sorotsky spoke with one family in Elk who says they're ready to move forward, but that their insurance company is slowing their progress.
Well, this is what's left of the Monahans' home and business here in Elk. Despite losing their shelter and their livelihood, they say they're focused on rebuilding and moving forward.
And that makes it a little bit, surreal.
When this fire broke out over a week ago, Brendan Monahan instantly knew his home was in trouble.
The sound we heard was actually the fire coming towards us.
He tried to save it himself, throwing water from his pool onto the house, injuring himself in the process.
And ended up having to go to the hospital with smoke-related issues.
Once he was released, he came home to see almost everything reduced to debris.
And that makes it a little bit, surreal.
But Brendan says he's already looking to clear this lot and start rebuild from the ground up. There's just one thing stopping him.
There's not a lot of sympathy coming from insurance companies right now.
He says he's still waiting to hear back from his insurance company.
I know it takes time, but I'm kind of forced to stare at this destruction, and I can't really clean anything or start a build until someone comes up here.
While he waits, he says his community is taking care of him and his family.
I'm blown away with the generosity and the caring that people are showing, whether it's a stranger or someone you know.
The biggest thing that Brendan says he's learned from this is how instantly life can change, but he says he's determined to move forward. Reporting in Elk, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
Thank you, Bronte. Right now, TJ Meenock Drive is full of traffic cones and detours have been in place for months there. We've had multiple people calling into our newsroom wanting to know when the traffic nightmare is going to come to an end. The city says they're on track to completely reopen the road September 15th. Now, you'll remember this was all part of a $7 million construction project meant to improve the health of the Spokane River, a plan that's been in the works for years. New at 6:30, in the last couple of years, college sports has changed dramatically as student athletes can now get paid. But that's also presenting many challenges, and that includes Washington State University. Our Alex Crescenti takes a look at the impact name, image, and likeness has on the school.
I got a $5 coupon off Domino's when I went to school down there, and so that was kind of our extent.
$5 off a pizza sure doesn't sound like a whole lot, but then again, college sports wasn't the same 40 years ago when Paul Sorensen was wreaking havoc on Pac-10 receivers.
We couldn't work when we went to school. We didn't have full cost of tuition. We didn't have any NIL stuff, and we pretty much were hungry by the end of the month.
Fast forward more than 40 years, and the game is bigger. The players are bigger. Let's go, and the money, well, you know where that stands. But the landscape changes so quickly, even current players see the impacts.
When I'm watching football, you don't realize all the inner workings that are going on. And so the biggest thing for me was NIL, and I think that started with a kicker over at UCF. But I remember seeing that on national television. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, your degree is everything, and now you're giving that up for YouTube earnings and whatnot, and then just to see that snowball into what it is now.
When the NCAA changed its policy on student athletes making money, name, image, and likeness accounted for a reported $917 million in just the first year alone. But the schools still can't pay the players directly, so third-party collectives were set up as liaisons, if you will. And that's when Sorensen was called upon to help out his university once again.
The whole concept of Cougar Collective, basically we were asked by the institution to set up a collective because they saw this thing coming down the pipe. Where we had some money for the defensive backs, being at EB, that's kind of where we wanted to go. So threw it to the university, says, hey, how do we do this? How does this whole thing work?
Third-party organizations like Cougar Collective help connect athletes to various business opportunities. And even fans can contribute directly to players, helping them earn a little cash on the side.
You have to do Facebook likes, you have to show up in an appearance, you have to sell your jersey.
Now, more than 100 student athletes are under the collective umbrella. But with more money comes more problems.
With the collective itself, how much money do you bring in a given year?
It varies. I don't want to give out a number because then all of a sudden we're pigeonholed, but it's the lowest in the Pac-12, but it's growing. We would be 5th in the Mountain West right now in the collective. There's 4 schools in the Mountain West that have better collective in terms of funds and fundraising than what Washington State has.
Washington State also ranks 11th in the Pac-12 in total revenue and donor contributions, creating a difficult decision for boosters.
The reality is the donors we've typically gone to over the course of the last 18 months now have other options relative to going directly to our student athletes, and there are impacts that we're going to feel.
And then, of course, there's good old-fashioned tampering.
We've had guys contact our players' parents. We had a coach from another school contact one of our players and offer him NIL, a coach. Okay, so there's more things going on behind the scenes that you can't even imagine.
In your 5 years here, did you ever have anyone that reached out into your DMs or called you, or other schools, coaches? Did that ever happen?
I mean, yeah, but obviously I think, it's like against the rules. So for me, it was very easy just not to reply to it. But again, like you said, it's so crazy how that's changed in recruiting now. Like you said, the businesses can use that because they can have alumni who went to that school and whatnot. But I think, again, if you're using it as a recruitment tool, now we need to figure it out a little bit.
There's definitely ways that people will find a way to reach out to you. It's not that it's illegal, but it's not that it's legal, but if people want to, they'll find a way.
So it seems like your services were requested at some point, possibly.
Yeah, but we're Cougs, so it's like, come on now.
If it hasn't become obvious by now, NIL and the transfer portal aren't going anywhere anytime soon. And universities like WSU can't afford to wait for Congress to bail them out.
I told someone, I said, it's not college basketball anymore. I said, you're right, it's not. It's not what it was, and I don't think I'll ever go back.
And refusing to adapt will only hurt from a competitive standpoint. So what can Washington State do to keep up?
And right now we're behind. And I think that's the reality. I'm okay with saying that because we got to be solution-based. We got to lock arms, and we got to find ways to push forward.
Combine that with the Pac-12 dissolving, and that makes for an uncertain future. But the students, coaches, and alumni see unity as their greatest strength moving forward.
It's not a fun battle. And it's not a fun battle when you're getting your teeth kicked in. But you know what? I'm a Coug, man. I'm used to fighting. We were picked dead last in 1981. We played Washington for the Pac-10 championships in Seattle. So it can be done. Cougars have always rallied. They've always figured out a way to compete.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Ritter's Garden and Gift.
Tina, the Tina Turner Musical. Tina Turner's triumphant story is live on stage in the mega hit musical direct from Broadway. Prepare to be ecstatically blown away. September 19th through 24th at First Interstate Center for the Arts. On sale now at BroadwaySpokane.com.
When you call the experts at Zero Res in almost zero time, you can enjoy carpets that stay cleaner longer without dirt attracting residue. Schedule your appointment with the experts at Zero Res, and we'll do the dirty work for you. Zero Res, a smarter, lasting clean.
Save now with Bi-Mart's latest membership savings book, arriving in members' mailboxes this week. There's 16 pages of great store-wide savings, including everything you need for Labor Day. At Bi-Mart, our members save more every day.
Wednesday. The women of the Golden Bachelor will be revealed.
It's wildfire season, and 4 News Now First Alert weather is more important than ever.
Bone-dry vegetation, lightning strikes, sudden winds. With conditions so volatile and so much at stake, every second counts.
Wildfire warnings to evacuation orders to the all clear. Trust the 4 News Now First Alert weather team to keep you safe.
Alerting you first.
On air, online, and on the go with the 4 News Now app.
Protecting you and your family.
That's what we mean when we say expect more.
Fury over the ding-dong ditch. Next, Inside Edition, it's supposed to be a harmless prank. Ring your neighbor's doorbell and run. But be warned. Look what happened to this kid when an irate homeowner caught him.
This was a vicious assault.
Then, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Look, 14 times.
I've never turned anyone down.
Next, Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
Check in on our Doppler radar, finding some thunderstorm activity now moving a little more directly north into Benewah County from Latah, also into Shoshone County. The area shaded in pink, Clearwater County, western Montana. That's our severe thunderstorm watch, but there are no severe thunderstorms in progress right now. Orofino, we're mainly just dealing with some rain, and then very little activity in Spokane. We are on the far eastern edge or western edge of the precipitation right now, but we're going to keep that chance of rain going overnight and tomorrow. Here are 4 things to know. Rain overnight and a soggy Wednesday. It is going to be windy at times with gusts to 30 miles per hour both tonight as well as tomorrow. High temperatures only in the 60s. Here's a look at our forecast radar. And starting off at 7 o'clock tonight, we're seeing more rain rotating through, and we're going to start to see the focus of the precipitation in border boundary counties as well as the Northeast Mountains. That's where the heavier rain is going to be. That is where our flood watch is through tomorrow. Here's 8 o'clock tomorrow morning with more rain through the central panhandle. And this is not thunderstorm activity, but showers. Wouldn't rule out an isolated thunderstorm over the mountains, but mostly we're just going to be dealing with the rain, and we will be dry by this time tomorrow. There is a chance of showers on Thursday, but nothing like what we're seeing tomorrow, where we have a 90% chance of precipitation 7 through 9 o'clock, down to 70% through about 4 p.m., and then down to 0 as we get into the evening. Meanwhile, here's a look at our temperature trend over the next 7 days. We have a couple of very cool days ahead. Wednesday and Thursday will be down in the 60s, up closer to average Friday, and then right about average for one day, Saturday, before we start dropping again next week. We also have a chance of showers on Labor Day, Monday. The trend going forward, this is September 6th through September 12th. A lot of kids heading back to school in the blue, indicating a chance of below average temperatures. I would not want to be starting school. Well, they've already been in school for a month and over much of the South, but they are going to be in for a hot first start of September there. Precipitation, meanwhile, a chance of above average precipitation. So not a typical way to start September in the inland Northwest. Here's a look at our planning forecast. Windy tomorrow, a breezy day on Thursday with a chance of showers. We dry out for Friday and Saturday and warm up. Showers return on Sunday and into what could be a wet Labor Day on Monday. Kirsten?
Well, stay prepared. Thank you, Chris. Well, while most parents of first graders are helping their kids round up school supplies and calm anxieties for the new school year, a family in Spokane Valley is doing everything that they can to extend their first grader's life. And it's not just his, but his little brother's too. This is 6-year-old Michael, and he was diagnosed with Batten disease, a rare disease affecting about 3 out of 100,000 kids. There is no cure. Seizures are among the first symptoms.
Then loss of motor skills, loss of speech, loss of eyesight, childhood dementia, and then eventually it causes death.
Once Michael was diagnosed, the whole family got tested, and Michael's 2-year-old brother tested positive for the disease as well.
We even got the other kids tested. I knew Oliver's test was going to come back because he wasn't trying to speak. He was following the same path as Michael with speech.
There is a glimmer of hope for this family in the form of Batten disease that the boys have is the only one with a treatment. To see the dramatic step the families are taking to buy their kids more time, look for this story by our very own Robin Nance on KXLY.com. And here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
I'm a proud WSU alum, and so working for a financial institution that supports WSU holds dear to my heart. What we're really excited about is this summer we're doing the Week of Welcome, and every year people look forward to this as we do a wonderful crop art, which welcomes all the students and the entry diplomamen when they come in, they're ready for back to school.
BCU has been affiliated with the Crop Art Project since 2019, so this is our 5th year working with Stan Hurd and WSU.
You know, when the students come, you can see them lined up for 27 miles coming in. Whoa, we're back, you know, hey, and everybody kind of connects a little bit.
It's really special to see a fun project like that come to life.
It's a visual representation of the support that BECU provides. It's a beautiful piece of artwork, and it's something that connects all of our alumni and students across the country, not just here in Pullman. So that's what I love about it, honestly.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm the education coordinator for wastewater and stormwater. So you should wash your car on the lawn because it helps all of the pollutants that come off your car seep into the soil and naturally filters in the ground before it hits our aquifer.
Your grass gets a drink, your car gets clean, and no soap enters our storm drains. So you know, that's an illicit discharge.
To learn more about stormwater tips and city projects that are protecting our river, go to SpokaneStormwater.org.
The Labor Day savings are kicking off early this week at Walker's Furniture.
And that means some of the biggest discounts of the year as Walker's marks down all bedroom and living room furniture. Plus, they brought in special 5 years no interest financing this week at Walker's.
Hello, I'm Lloyd Herman. If you need legal assistance due to an accident or an injury, put my 40 years of experience of dealing with the insurance companies to work for you. You'll have an appointment to speak to me within 48 hours. Lloyd Herman & Associates, 922-6600.
This is the Kelly Clarkson Show.
Summer's here, y'all. I'm so ready. You are so ready. Give your day a little Kelly.
I'll be back on the show.
Oh, this feels so good.
I love my life. Big stars and good vibes. Puff it up. Get showered in summer. Let it rain, y'all.
Watch Kelly weekdays at 4 and 4 News Now at 5.
It's
It's showtime. 10 days of fair fun starts Friday, September 8th.
Well, the National Weather Service says Idalia has the makings of an unprecedented weather event for the Big Bend area of Florida. The storm is fast approaching and gaining strength right now, set to make landfall sometime tomorrow as a dangerous Category 3 hurricane. CNN's Gloria Pazmino is in Clearwater Beach as the Sunshine State braces for impact.
Florida in the direct path of a rapidly intensifying storm.
This is going to be a major hurricane, likely a Category 3.
The first major hurricane set to make landfall in the U.S. this year. Idalia is threatening millions with potentially deadly storm surges and heavy flooding.
The #1 killer in all of these storms is water. Whether it's the storm surge that's going to happen at the coast or the excessive rainfall that might happen inland that causes urban flash flooding.
The National Hurricane Center is predicting wind speeds well over 100 miles per hour, which could lead to widespread power outages.
You're going to see power lines knocked down, and it's just going to require a concerted effort.
Evacuations are underway in at least 22 counties as coastal communities brace for the worst.
Don't try to be a hero and ride it out. If they tell you to get out of there, please get out of there and do it now.
Local, state, and federal agencies are mobilizing ahead of anticipated search and rescue, power restoration, and recovery efforts.
We will continue to move forces in to be ready to respond at Florida's request to come in after the storm passes.
But as the storm quickly approaches, officials warn the time to prepare is running out.
Whatever you decide is the best for yourself and your family, again, the action is now. You must do it now.
In Clearwater Beach, I'm Gloria Pazmino.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
E.T.'s headed to Greece with the stars of My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
The whole family's coming.
Our exclusive behind the scenes next E.T.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30.
You expect more from local news. 4 News Now delivers.
It's to get you the information you need to plan your day.
We begin with breaking news and the breaking news you need to keep your family safe.
That's what we mean when we say expect more.
Buy more, save more during the 4-day Super Labor Day sale at Furniture Row. That's 4 amazing days to get $100 off every $1,000 you spend, plus 6 years no interest. But hurry, the 4-day Super Labor Day sale at Furniture Row ends soon.
This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. You can go farther, tow more, and bring along everyone you love. Your road to happiness begins in a new Chevy. Get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT Turbo Max pickups, or get $6,000 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. See your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Are you interested in a top-load laundry set? See the best selection of top-load laundry sets anywhere at Fred's Labor Day sale.
Like this Hot Point top-load set that's in stock. Top-load washers and dryers start at only $4.99 each.
GE top-load laundry sets have features like a water station for hand rinsing, sensor drying, and deep fill for your biggest load.
Top-load laundry sets start at only $4.99 each. Plus, get up to an additional $500 in exclusive rebates.
Stop by your local Fred's Appliance today.
I'm looking for a nice spot to spend the summer.
Spend it with the summer of me. The summer of bonus episodes of MASH. The summer of all new episodes of Collector's Call. The summer of drama.
You here for the summer?
Sci-fi.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
Westerns. And the summer of comedy.
You can catch the summer reruns.
Watch The Summer of Me over the air on MeTV 4.2.
It's the 4-day Super Labor Day sale at Denver Mattress. And right now, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend, plus 6 years no interest and free shipping. But hurry, the 4-day Super Labor Day sale at Denver Mattress ends Monday.
4 News Now is brought to you by Mysticwa Casino Hotel in Chewelah.
Coming up tonight on Nightside, a fast-moving fire started near an Idaho hospital this afternoon and has already burned down multiple buildings. We are going to follow the flames and bring you the very latest updates at 11.
Expect some rain on Wednesday through most of the day, tapering off by evening. A windy day, a high of only 68 degrees. We're going to warm up for the first part of the weekend.
I did say earlier this week I need to keep an eye on the Labor Day forecast. That's looking a little iffy at this point.
It's looking a little iffy. That could change. I will keep you updated. I will keep you updated.
Just have to have that app handy.
That too.